Parshas Vayikra, Tafshin Pei. We're going to talk about the side of the korban. If I have time, I'll touch you a side here. As much as I'm going to give you the side, there is another side behind this, which is beyond my mind-boggling. Just to tease you, maybe I'll say a few things. You see, my page is blank today. Didn't even have time to prepare this year. I'm just going to get into probably not even to the second pasuk. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, in the second pasuk. All right, let's learn it together. Vayikra el Moshe. He called Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elav, and Hashem spoke to him. Logically, Hashem should have been here. Vayikra Hashem el Moshe, Vaydaber Elav, because we know who the subject is. But that's not what the Torah is doing. The Torah is not telling us. It's just saying Vayikra el Moshe. Who? I don't know. But the one who spoke to Moshe is Hashem. It's almost saying like someone called, but the one I spoke to is this. I mean, it makes no sense. Where from? The usual. Like you're telling me something new. Daber el Bnei Yisrael. Speak to the Bnei Yisrael. Ve'omato alehem. And tell them. But you already told me to speak to the Bnei Yisrael. Daber Bnei Yisrael. Ve'omato alehem. Always a repetition. A few times in the Torah, this Lashon comes up. And this Lashon always is here to teach us a side. So here, if Hashem wanted to tell the Bnei Yisrael the halachas of Korban, Daber Bnei Yisrael. But he told Moshe, Ve'amato aliyah, and smoothen in, because Amata is the Lashon Rach. Speak to them also about the side of the Korban. Give them the halachas. It's in the Dibur. In the Amira, it's Hush, Rashi says the Amira. Hush them the side of the Korban. Adam ki yakriv mikem. A person who's going to bring a korban from you. Oh, we're doing human korbans now? It's mutar. Seemingly what the pasuk wants to say is Adam mikem, one from amongst you that brings a korban. Korban Lashem, a korban HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's not what the pasuk says. The pasuk says, Adam ki yakriv mikem, a person that brings one of you. I'm very adamant about, the pshat of the pasuk here. Why? Because the Torah, we can consider and say that this is a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's voluntary. The Torah wanted this way and not any other way, because we're going to see there's a message in here that's going to fit the words in a way that's really peletic. Adam ki yakriv mikem, a person that brings one of you. As korban Hashem, korban HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He has to bring mina behema, from all domesticated animals. Okay, what domesticated animals you? The goats, the sheep, the cow, Okay, so once you say the klal, behema, it's just, there's no reason to say mina bakar or mina tzoin, because bakar and tzoin are the families that makes part of the behema. There's nothing else. Behema is bakar, all the animals that are called not the flock, the big
Cattle.
big animals, uminatzon, and for the flock, whatever it is, goats, rams, this, that, it's all tzoyin. So what's the point of the repetition? Takrivu es korbanchem. The pasuk comes and repeat what we said before. Ki yakriv mikem korban Hashem. Takrivu es korbanchem. Now, before it was a korban for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now it's no longer a korban for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's our korban. Is there a mechanism here possibly that at the beginning the korban belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then it belongs to us? Usually it's the opposite. It's ours. We take the Gashmis and we elevate it to Ruchnis. But here we have the opposite system coming up. We have Ruchnis supposedly and bringing that to Gashmis. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. I mean, just in general, we see that the pasuk, the Lashon, is not what it seems, is not what we translate. There is here many places where the Torah seems to want to hint us something, and we have to understand what's the hint and what's the limit from it. I still want to add one more question. A person is choite, en adam choite, ela imken nichnas boy ruach shtus, Chazal said. A person can only be choite if a spirit of folly got into him. Where do they come from, these ruach shtus? Where do they come from? Where is the location in the world? They are in the northern side of the world. And this is where they all can be found. At this point, I realized that in the Mishkan, when we bring the korban, we bring it on the Mizbeach HaChitzon. And the Mizbeach HaChitzon is located at the north of the Mishkan. Do we tell someone who made a mistake? What do we say? Somera va'aseh tov. Go as far as you can from the bad and then do good. Don't try to remain in the side of the temptation and pretend now you're going to be Tarzan and you're going to be able to overcome yourself. You won't be able to. So why do we bring him in order to do a tshuva? We bring him back to the north. Let me explain this a second. The Zohar Chadash says that the Torah starts with the big letter base to hint us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world by walling three sides and leaving one side open. East, west, and south are walled. This is a base. But the northern side is open. Like this, a person has a bechira. Whatever he wants to do, he can go and do. He will pay the price. But he has the choice. And the Zohar in Pashas Shlach Lecha adds on the side of Negoif Urfei. With what HaKadosh Baruch Hu punishes, with that very same midah, he rewards. Basically, mitzafein tavoi hara, all the bad comes from the tzafein. And on the same token, you have a pasuk in Tehillim, Marav tuvcha asher tzofanta lirecha. How much good you heed for those who fear you. Tzafanta, says the Zohar, is lashon tzafin. So now you have tzafin, tzafun. It's a minor variation in the nekuda. That's all it is, but it's the same word. And we see that when there's a cholam, when there's a o on the vav, that's bad. But when there's a u on, like you say, on the night of the Seder, tzafun barech. First, we take the hidden, which is the afikoymen, and then we do birkas hamazon. So you see that tzafun is hidden, is not exposed. Tzafun is exposed. Tzafun is not. We have to understand what's hiding in that side and how is the person crossing the border, leaving the world, the civilized world, to go into the world of evil spirits and evil creatures. Because if it's that bad, I want to be able to avoid, taking the path. There should be a warning sign when you're on a certain path and you want to go somewhere. There should be a warning sign saying, don't take that path. It's not fair to tell me there's a tzafin, but you don't put any warning on the ways that it's there. We should have a warning. Tzafin equals 226. 226, I'm going to show you. Because this is a big side. We take tzafin equals 226. And if we take the word gaiva in full, gimel, aleph, vav, and hey. This equals 226. A person, when is he crossing the border, when automatically he feels good about himself, he calls his confidence, but it's about gaiva. Hakina v'ataiva, hakina v'ataiva, hakina asina v'ataiva, matzim es adam ino, v'akoved matzim es adam ino. You see that when a person is seeking either vengeance, either jealousy, he's jealous from his friend, either he is seeking kavod, motzin es adam min ha'olam. Now we understand what is motzin es adam min ha'olam. He crossed the northern border. Like the Mitzorah, that felt that he deserved to be part of the world, and his friend, which he badmouthed, with which he said lashon hara on, doesn't deserve to be in the world. And his punishment is he is crossing the border, the northern border, and he is in the place of evil spirits, with the difference is that a normal human being doesn't see them. But once a person said Lashon Hara, and he has to go to the desert, the Zohar says, he sees them. You wanted to be, justify yourself, self-righteous. You judge yourself as as a righteous person, and you're right. You all of a sudden the justice here, and you take your justice upon shovel down the throat of another Yid. At that point, you cross the northern side, and whether you're going to see or you're not going to see, only thing I know is the Metzora. It's written Mefurash, he sees them. And they look weird. It's a panic to look at them. Now, another word, another gematria for this, for Tzafin 226, is Pnei Eloikim, the face of Eloikim. Now, when you take, when Esav came with 400 men to attack Yaakov Avinu, he said, no, it's Yaakov Avinu who said to Esav, Ra'isi panecha ki rois pnei Eloikim. I saw your face as the face of a god, Vatitzeni, and you accepted me, meaning you agreed not to revenge for the brachas. I don't want to emphasize on the Midrashim to explain what Yaakov said in his Kavana. I just want to emphasize on the Midrash in Parshas Bereshis. Bereshis bara Eloikim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz. Ve'haaretz hoisa soihu vavoihu. Ve'choshech al penei sehoim. Ve'ruach Eloikim merachefes al penei hamayim. What's Ruach Eloikim? Says the Midrash. It's the Ruach of the Mashiach ben David. Because Mashiach ben David is also going to come through the northern side. But Pnei Eloikim refers, so in the Tzafin, that it's the panim of the Shechina, that's the most correct answer. In other words, Tzafin can have either, the bad touch, which is Gaiva. On the other hand, he has two extremes in there. We'll see what comes out and how we're going to explain it. In Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer explains, Rabbi Eliezer Agadol explains that why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu fenced up the northern side? He says because if someone during the times comes and says to the other people, I'm a god, they're going to tell him, look, Hashem fenced 3 sides and he left 1 open. If you're a god, fence up the northern side. That's the way to catch the jokers, those who try at any cost to be on top of the people. Look at Rabbi Eliezer, he brings another pasuk. Har Tzion, the Mount of Zion. Har Tzion is not Har Habais, by the way. Har Tzion is where David HaMelech is buried. It's the next mount over. Har Habais is where the Beis Hamikdash was built. Har Tzion Yachesei Tzafin. Kiryas Melech Rav. So, Yachesed Tzafon, I'm going to explain what it is. Kiryas Melech Harav, it's the city of the great king, the big king. Because the world started, yes, from Harabais, but Zion is the Nekuda of the Kodesh HaKodashim, where exactly the Even Shesia is. Whoever has the Even Shesia has the whole world. Do you think the Arabs innocently created the mosque over the Kodesh HaKodashim just where the Even Shesia is? No, because they know that the one who has in his possession the Even Shesia will be ruling over the world. Everything comes back, all the powers, the mazalas, everything comes back to the Even Shesia. So what it has to do with the Tzafon, just to tell us that as much as Zion is cherished, also the part that adorns her, that adorns Zion, is the Tzafon, is the north. And that pasuk then makes no sense. We just said before that this is the place where all the chitzonim are. It's the Tzafon. How can a place with disgusting creatures that look terrible can be adorning the Malchus which resides in Zion? How is it possible? How can you say even the two in the same sentence? It's not possible. So what is he coming to tell me? That in the north, besides the evil stuff that goes on, there is something extreme. That's where the Melech HaKadosh is staying. In other words, as before we said, Safun means the reward of the tzaddikim is hidden on the northern side. Misafoin, says he of Mitsafoin, Zahav Yeseh. The gold will come from the north. What does it mean? The gold is a reward. The gold is rich. The gold is din. Okay, but you know what? A lot of people would like to have that din, to have a lot of gold falling on you. Nevertheless, it shows that the gold here, there's a lot of schar for the tzaddikim hidden on the northern side of the world. The Gemara in Midas, the Mishnah in Midas, Perek Aleph Mishnah Gimel, says there were 5 gates to the Beis Hamikdash. There were 2 in the south, then we had 3 more to the 3 other sides. And to the northern side, there was a gate that's called Tadi. And through that gate, so that gate was built differently. It didn't have the arch and the shape and the stones around to be able to put a door. It was just a post against the post, like a triangle, and that was the door. When was that door used? That door was used when the Pirchei Kehuna, that sleep in the Beis Hamikdash, if someone got impurified during the night, he cannot walk through the Heichal and he cannot walk through the Mekomos Kedoshim in the Mishkan. he has to go. There was a special passage that they created, a special path that they created that avoids the going and be metame the Beis Hamikdash, and he had to go out through the northern gate. Wow, again the north. Yes, because this is the gate, the gate of the chitzonim. So the person should realize, why do I go through that gate? Because this gate, there remain, or there stand these chitzonim that enticed me to do the chet. And he would do tshuva. So that was the purpose. That's why it says there in the Mishnah. When Nebuchadnezzar came up on Eretz Yisrael, he came through that door. So when we say mitzafein tavoi hara, it doesn't mean in general from the northern side of Israel. No, enemies can come from the southern side, as we saw last year, from the southern side of Eretz Yisrael. Nevertheless, it's considered, the north. Okay, yes, it happens to be against the north of the world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened up this gate much wider, so Nebuchadnezzar and the armies and the kings that were with him came up on Yerushalayim through the northern side. We have learned so far that the north is really, in this life till Mashiach, is a place of defilement, of tumah. Once Mashiach is going to come, Safen will be changed and will be the place where the schar of the tzaddikim that were mekayim the Torah in this world, despite the temptations, this is where it's hidden, in the north. I accept, I understand the north has a function. What I don't understand is when a person got sick, a person that got bitten by a viper, do we tell him after that to go next to the viper? No, the guy who would say that, the doctor who would say that, would be insane. And people will start shooting at him. So why Bedavka HaKadosh Baruch Hu requested that the Mizbeach should be placed to the north? According to what we said, the Mizbeach should have been placed in the south, but definitely not the north. Maybe in the Tiferes, in the center, but it should have been to the other extreme of what it represents. That's the point I want to make. Explains Rabbi Yosef Midigitalia, very famous Sefer Sha'arei Oirav, very Yesodic in terms of, Kabbalah, what it represents, all the different terminology, the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kel, Elohim, Elohim Tzevois, all this there, it's like explained in such a simple manner. He lived in the late 14th century. And his Torah is basically him, some say he was the Talmud of Rabbi Avraham Abulafia from Spain. Once I say Hashem Kaddish like this, let me tell you, what he suffered is not a life. How many persons, how many blasphemies, it's like there was no one else and they had to persecute him. What persecution he went through. Such a Tzaddik Kaddish Elyon. The difference is, today, we learned the Torah of Abu Lafia. One of you knows the name of the guy that used to make him, that used to oppress him? No, you don't know. I don't know. And I really don't care. But one thing I can tell you, they're not good guys. To be zoiche, to make a tzaddik of that caliber suffer, guy has a rotten neshama. I mean, he doesn't have a neshama. He's a rotten ruach and nefesh. That's what he has. He comes and explains, do you think the korban is such a simple action? To be honest, it says in the pasuk, David HaMelech says, "V'rachmav al kol ma'aseh." Like all the Rishonim ask, the Gemara, this person sinned. What did the behema do in order to deserve death? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is merachem al kol biria vebiria. So how come HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordered that if you want to regain kapara on the avoidance that you have done, you have to bring your korban? How is the korban playing a role here that want to bring the person absolution? No. What does he have to do? The guy listened to his Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara lives inside him. So he got enticed. But why the behemoth? And why the north? Says Rabbi Yosef Midigitalia, a huge Yesod. When we shech that behemoth, that this person brought out the korban, in the throat, there is a gilgul. A gilgul that has arrived, matured. His holiness is over. And when the shoichet, which could be a zar, so a kohen, or even a Yisrael that shecht, he frees the gilgul that's in that person. When that person eats the meat, automatically that gilgul goes inside him. And when he leaves this world, automatically both of them are going back to their place. Therefore, the Gemara says in Psachim Memtei Samud Beis that it's also for Amaretz to eat meat. Why? Because in the meat, when it comes to the plate of a Jew, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mashgiach beprate pratius in this world. And if that piece of meat ended up you in your plate, it means that you are the only one that can be mesaken that gilgul that's in there. Because it comes from the same area where your neshama comes from in the Shechina. Wow. So now we see the korban not bringing a tumura, meaning a redeeming of the sins of the person on the animal. So we're bringing, instead of the person putting him to death for reneging the word of Hashem, now it goes on the head of the behemoth. How can killing, because that's basically what it is, how can killing have a positive effect? How is it possible that by the fact we're killing the behemoth, automatically, by magic, this person gets kapara? We understand us. We've been too long learning, the pnimius Torah. And we know that there's always a mechanism. It's never happened in a vacuum. The korban, it's great to know there's a gilgul, but I would like to know with what the person does to the korban, how is he regaining kapara to a point that he's white as if nothing happened? But if chas v'shon, the well, if the sheikhet, whatever reason, a shikar is not allowed to sheikh, he was shikar. A kohen has to have the right intention to bring the korban in his right place and in his right fashion and eat it according to the prescription of the Torah. Some you can have two nights, one day, some one night, one day, and Korban Pesach till Chatzos. So each one has a different, have different halachas. And if any of it is not done exactly as the Torah says, the korban is pigul, it's not going to be a kapara. The korban cannot be eaten. La kelev tashlichun oiser. You have to throw it to the dogs. What do you mean you have to throw it to the dog? I mean, this is a huge avla. We know that there is someone inside that behemoth. It's not by chance that a behemoth comes to the Beis Hamikdash and it's going to be shechted as a korban. This gilgul finished the cycle of punishment. He's been there, maybe he passed by doimem, things that live, but don't move, don't talk, like a stone. Then he went to Tzomeyach, then he was lucky he was into a plant. Then Hashem made it that he has to go to the next degree, which is Baal Chai, living creatures. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes the behemoth come, the specific behemoth that's supposed to carry that gilgul comes and eat the grass. We were missing one thing. The shechita was not done properly. The intentions were not correct. What does it have to do with this gilgul? When you send him back to the Caleb, we know from the Gemara, we know in Yuma, we know that when someone used to bring a korban, the semen that the korban was accepted was if the smoke goes up straight, and also beforehand, the fire that came down from the roof of the Mishkan, of the Beis Hamikdash, was in the shape of a lion. Arya de Be'ila, the upper lines. But if he came from a hole in the ground, like it happened in Bayesheni, which is located at the northern side of the Mizbeach, we know that and he had the shape of a caliph. We know that the korban was not accepted. Who is that dog? It's she, the lily. That's her. And she plays her role. When a korban is not accepted, it goes to the caliph, meaning that when the shoichet or when the kohen had the wrong intentions while preparing the korban, this gilgul goes back at the bottom of the food chain. He goes all the way down to the lily. What has he done wrong on his own? He has suffered his oynesh. He has paid his dues. He shouldn't be going back to the belly of the nachash. We understand that. It's normal. The wrongdoing was from the shochet. It was from the kohen, but not this neshama. So why do we send? We throw this neshama back to the nachash. Let me give you a side here. We're going to start understanding how the kapara is coming and how far we are from knowing how the kapara is working. It's not the korban, the kapara. When a person does tshuva, says the Rambam, the real test that his tshuva was truthful was that if he finds himself again in the same situation where he has failed the test, that time he's going to pass the test. So, when this person is about to have completed his cycle, the Malachi Chabala, the bad, evil angels that punish him on the other side, it's called Kaf Hakela, the worst punishments. Gehinnom is sweeter, it's Gan Eden compared to Kaf Hakela. They make him feel as if he's alive. He really feels alive now. As if he was with his goof, he sees himself complete. So they put together the goof, the nefesh, ruach, neshama, as he was when he was in this world. And now they tempt him. If he fails, he's going back to the table from his own doing. It's not really the fault of the shochet that he's going back to the bottom of the food chain. No, it's his own fault. Because the shochet is a consequence of him failing to pass the test and making a true tshuva. And that's the reason we can't say it's not fair. Yes, it is fair. Because that neshama, when he was put back with the goof, as he was when he was alive, as he was when he did his chataim, and before being released from the other side, he was tested. It's a siman, he failed the test. Now we're going to understand the pasuk about what we asked and what everybody is asking. Adam, a person, ki yakriv mikem, who's going to bring an offering of one of you. Let me reread this sentence. Adam, it's a living person. Ki yakriv, that he's going to bring. Mikem, from you, the one who is in the behema. The behema, the korban, does nothing. The kapara comes from releasing that gilgul and enable him to go back up to his place. In other words, when a person is chote, is falling down, his neshama is taken by the other side. The malchus, the Knesset Yisrael, the keser of the malchus, which is the shoyresh of all the neshamas of Israel, lost another neshama. In order to correct himself and undo all the damage that he has done, he had to bring a korban, and in that korban there is a neshama. If he saves the neshama and does it properly, and he raised it back to the malchus which is the din, the midas hadin, will release the din that's on him also. It's a mirror. It's a mirror effect. You go in front of a mirror, you see yourself. You put your son in front of the mirror, you're going to see your son. Once you have a neshama in a korban, the fact that you re-elevate that neshama from the underworld into the upper world, at that point you have a reward from the malchus that whatever you lost, she will go get it and return it to you. In the same token, the malchus got back to neshamas that she had lost for a long time. She got back to neshamas. If we take, let's go now a bit deeper. If we take here, Adam ki yakriv mikem, since everybody and the brothers have a problem with it, let's go see what's behind it. Equals 497. Equals malchusa. Or malchus plus the koilo, whatever you want. In other words, you see exactly what we have learned so far. Adam ki yakriv mikem. The whole inyan is to regain, the favors of the malchus, because that person has been sinning against the malchus. He created a bibkam, but now Kadosh Baruch Hu made it that he's going to save a gilgul, and therefore, through that merit, he will also be able to be mesaken his pgam. The neshama that left him will come back. Let's try to go one more level down. I can show you this. I don't have to, but if you want to see, there's no need. Let's focus on what a person is doing. In order for a person to correct, you always need to make a yichud in Shamayim between Kudsha Barichu and the Shechina. When you want to make the ninuim in the lulav, you have to bring the esrog and attach it with the three other minim. That's the only way you can make your ninuim. If you didn't do that, then you know it. Here also, when a person wants to bring, he has to bring back the yud. So he wants his neshama back. He has to bring back the yud, which is the neshama of another Jew. And the proof being that if you take the yud plus his neshama, equal 405, equal yud k vav k shin dalet yud adnus. In other words, we have taken, you see, it's a bar between Tiferes and Yesod. It's a long, straight bar. It's a Vav. Malchus is a Hey. Vav, Hey. That's the Yichud. Tiferes, Yesod, Malchus is the full Yichud. So you have lower Yichudim. It's Yesod and Malchus together. But we don't want to have this, because now we have to be able to correct the Begam, and the way to correct it is Tiferes, Yesod, and Malchus. And this is what And by the way, only when a person does this can he be zoiche also of the shefa of the Shechina, because this is hapanasa. Just for the side. Everything is, so the neshama by itself, as a person, I don't know what he achieves is he doesn't achieve. I don't want to go into this. But here we see that when he does a chesed, automatically the Shechina will reward him. When he does a chesed with another neshama, the Shechina will reward him. Now, you're going to tell me, maybe it's not the Shechina, maybe it's Hashem. How do you know everything? Okay, fair question, at the end of the day. If we take this and we know equals 405, but we take the koilel of the Yudke Vavke, koilel of Shakai, koilel of Adnos, equals 408, like Zois. Zois Chanukas HaMizbeach, we know Zois is the Malchus, right? Comes out to Even HaSapir. The sapphire stones, basically. Oh. Even HaSapir, says the Ramak in Pardes Rimoinim, that this is the Shechina. Now, on the same sentence, you can see the whole inyan of what we discussed so far crystallized into a person does his tshuva starts with the chesed. He doesn't really have the heart, the warmth, and the heimishkeit in order to jump from the chet directly to the tshuva. No, it takes a little bit of hacking, a little bit of yisurim, a little bit. But no, we don't tell him. He said right away, bring a korban. So when he brings the korban, the bridge from the land of the darkness to the land of light, that bridge is that neshama, which is a gilgul, and that's the chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu did with the Bnei Yisrael, and that's the inyan of still an Arya Kodesh here, but I don't want to bring him. I want to remain with something that's flowing and that gives us. And how do we know that the Malchus is forgiving that person? That the Malchus is removing the chet that this person did? It's because if you take Malchus in full, sorry, Mem, Lamed, Taf, Vav, Sov, equals 692, equals Mikveh Yisrael. Because the koyach of being metaher is in the hands of the malchus. So once you return a neshama to the malchus, you trigger the koyach of being metaher. The one who brought the korban, the choite, you give him an opportunity to be gaining tahara. And why? Because the malchus is erasing the chet of that person. By the way, now if that we're talking about this, it's Vayikra Moshe. You see that it's the Malchus. So now you understand another part in the pasuk. Why does he say, we ask the question, why does he say the name of Hashem in the second part of the pasuk, not in the first? Because here we're talking to the Malchus. Vayikra Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elov. So we have two interlocutors here to Moshe. We have the Shechina and we have HaKadosh Baruch. We have Daber Bnei Yisrael, we have Armato Aleichem. And we're gonna go to there. But here, for every person in their life, I would like to add a parenthesis. I know we decided never to go out of anything, but since we're approaching Yetzias Mitzrayim, we're approaching Pesach. In the weekends, a few days, we're gonna be sitting in the Seder. And the Torah mentions Yetzias Mitzrayim 61 times in the Torah, which is 61 is Ani. Who is Ani? The Malchus. In other words, what the Torah is hinting by this repetition, yeah, I know you know about it, Yetzias Mitzrayim. I know you know that our ancestors were enslaved there. But that's not what the Torah is talking about. You completely missed the boat. The Torah is talking in Yetzias Mitzrayim. Sorry. You used to see it Mitzrayim, right? But here now. Because as much as there's a gilgul in the behema, we have the same problem. The person is always in the narrow part of the body, mitzarim. You have walls crushing you from all the sides. The pressure is getting to a level that you cannot contain it anymore. You want to explode. You need to get out of this. This equals 891. It equals Tshuva Gan Eden. The Veshavta ad Hashem Eloikecha Veshomato bekoiloi Shuva Yisrael ki ad Hashem Eloikecha the Bina. The tshuva has to be done in a manner for it to produce result in a manner that it goes up all the way to the Bina. In other words, that person that brings the korban, when he used to see that mishechting the behema, and now there's a gilgul coming out of it because of him, he understands the plus versus the minus. Once you do the chet, you're going to be like that person going into the behemoth. When you do tshuva and a true tshuva, then you're the one standing on the outside, and you the enabler that's going to be mesaken that gilgul. And this is another side in the mechanism how this person is really making tshuva, and at the same time, now he's going to become tahir, and he's going to save another Jew. The korban, we said we had to bring it from, and we asked questions about it. Mina behema. I'm going to pick it up from here. Mina behema, mina bakar, or mina tzoyin. A person, v'nefesh kisecheta bishgaga. We're talking about a person who inadvertently made a chet, a mistake. How did he get to know it? Because if he did it and he knew it, then it's intentional. To be unintentional means he didn't realize. He didn't know it was awesome. So who's reminding him? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But you have to have one midah. The midah is mina behema equals 147. Equals exactly the midah staying in the Mishnah and in the pasuk in Mishlei. Tev ayin hu yevoirach. You have to have a good eye. Once a person falls into the choshech, the obscurity, at that point, he's going to see everything through the eyes of the obscurity. Everything is dark. But once the person is in the light, automatically he has a good eye. And a good eye is a siman that he is a bracha. So mina behema, before you even come and select your korban, think, how did you find out that you sinned? Only because HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent it in a way that you should be reminded. And this can only happen to someone who's Tev Ayin. What are you getting in return? Min habakar. Then you're going to be able to bring the best korban. Why is it not moving? Min habakar equals 397. You know, I keep on repeating you this. It's going to come out through your ears. You're going to know it by heart. That the way to be Mechaya Meis is the name of the Chochma, Yud Ke Vav Ke, Ke Ye, Aleph He Vav He, of the Das, so Chochma, Bina, and Das. Connecting together, this is what gives life. Once you have this, and now we're going to expand it, and we're going to have Yud, He, Vav, He. Aleph, He, Yud, He. Basically, we have Ab, Kasa, and now we have Aleph, He, Vav, He. The three moichin of Chaim are coming to the person. He will be zoiche to bring a korban min habaka. In other words, in a chenami, you are right. If the Torah here came to indicate which type of korban we're supposed to take, yes, you are right. There's no need to mention. Once you said that behema is composed by two families of animals, bakar and soim. So you don't have to enumerate them. So why did you do so? Only to explain you that you can gauge your toiv ayin, you can gauge how good you are, because then you're going to be able to bring min habakar, which is the three moichin. This is a siman that person got back to standing on his feet, meaning he has reached his original madriga. That's what it tells me. And amazingly, umin hatzain, with there's two. No, I had to do it the same way in the two words. This is the passage. Yeah. This is the passage. Second. אני באמצע השיעור. אני עוד 10 דקות גומר. אוקיי, בסדר. So, טוב עין הוא יבורך. There's no verb, it's written like this. Okay, so now we have Min HaBehema, we have Tov Ayin, we have the three moichin of life. Min HaTzoin equals 236. How do you make 236 here? Equal Yevoirach, which is 232. Yevoirach, so it's the Ralab plus the 4 letters. 4 letters, the Ari says of the Yud Ke Vav Ke. You can say the 4 letters 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want. It's all in here. The Korban doesn't start the whole process of releasing the neshama, the gilgul from the Korban, which is again not killing the animal, giving the kapara, but releasing the neshama from the gil, from the behema, elevated from chai to medaber, to Adam. It triggers a kapara because in the midah can get midah by the malchus. That's how we saw. So here comes the Shechina and said to tell the Bnei Yisrael, this all starts when they are going to the stable and they're going to choose an animal to bring in order. So they're going to be, when they choose properly and a good one, that's going to bring them the bracha. That's going to enable them to be successful in the process. And in the same token, not only gain kapara, but gain the bracha. This is there's a tremendous side. I mean, I know people think you can broad thing with numbers. I don't have a lot of time, but maybe I'll stop on this. It says in the pasuk like this. And that's only the on the tip of the iceberg. Control V. I'm gonna go here. Ki nosan milachmoi ladal. That's what Shlomo HaMelech says. I don't have time to put the vowels. Ki nosan milachmoi ladal. Why? Why do you call him a Tov Ayin? Why is he getting the Ralab, the oil of the Chachma? Ki nosan milachmoi ladal, because he gave from his bread to the poor. This equals 1194. Now, if you take this, only thing I'm going to change. I cannot write the thing. It's the mamish, the yud k. I have to write this, and I go back to right the vav. Korban lashem mina behema mina bakar mina tzoin equals exactly the pasuk toiv ayin hu yevayrach ki nosan milachmoy ladal. Basically, this pasuk, if we break it and we break the next pasuk, they equal here. But even on the outer, on the shell outside, you can see this is the touch of the pasuk. You cannot find me probabilities like this that, mathematically, that it could be a coincidence, this. It's not. There's one more thing, and Mamish end up on this. If I have it somewhere here, I would... there's another one. No, I don't remember where I wrote it. In other words, even when there's negativity around you, this shouldn't stop you from saying, I'm going to start making good. People are not worth it. Everybody's like this. It's the same. No, not everybody. This is a simon negativity that you have something to correct. And you have to keep being toiv ayin, a good eye, a good person, because hu yevayrach, at the end of the day, he's going to receive the oyer. No one else, not the Russia, not the guy who's trying to hurt. Ki milachmoy nosan ladal. The Zohar brings a story, and I close the shir on this. Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yosef were on the way. They're always on the way, okay? In the Zohar, there's always stories that there's a side in this. But, and they see two friends walking also, and they tell each other, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us on that road, it means he wants to teach us something. He wants to show us a nace. He says, let's stay behind. So they come by a mountain, and a third person comes out and tell them he was like looking terrible. It's 3 days I'm in the desert. I lost my way. I have no more food. I'm about to die. Please give me some food. One guy tells him no, because we're in the desert also, and I need my food. Otherwise, I will die. My life precedes yours. The other one started taking his stuff and told the guy, please sit down. I'm going to feed you and everything. And with the leftover of the food he had, he gave it to him as tzedakah there. So Rabbi Chia was very impressed by the gesture of that person. He says, let's go to him and give him some of our food. So Rabbi Yosef said, don't move. Let's see what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running that show here. Let's see what he wants to show us. The friend that didn't want to share, told his other friend that gave all his food away, don't ask me for food because I'm not going to share with you. Okay? So you decided to do what you wanted to do. You wanted to do a mitzvah, you did your mitzvah, but now your fate is in your hands, not in mine. So they walk, and toward the end of the afternoon, there was a tree and everything. They decided to sit under the tree. The friend that had food didn't want to bother his, at least he had some seichel. He went far away and started eating. And the other guy had no food. He was so tired and famished, he fell asleep under the tree. That moment, they see a huge lion coming in the direction of the man that's lying under the tree. He tells again, let's do something. He says, no, Hashem is showing us something. Let Hashem unveil the whole thing. If this one has done a chet and he deserved death, that's his tikkun, so we're going to let it happen. Okay, Rabbi says, but the lion didn't move. You're right. The feet of that person and waited. A few minutes passed, and a huge snake came down the tree, showed his head going toward the person that was under, lying down. The lion with his feet grabs him, and his claws grabs him, put in his mouth, crack his head. And he goes back out. Now, Rabbi Yosef tells Abchia, it's time to wake up the Yid and give him food. They wake him up slowly. They tell him the nace that happened. Remember the Korban, the lion that comes? Don't you think it's only on the Mizbeach? Wherever we do these mitzvahs, the shlichim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has, the nachash comes from the hole, right? He had the hole next to the Mizbeach. Everything was united there. You can see things unveiling a little bit a different form, but it doesn't mean what he has done is a Mizbeach. He's zon, he fed someone. Mizbeach equals 57, feeding. Automatically, when we do sometimes, nobody, everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu make us do is for a tikkun, and we have to be open and stop thinking that we are ruling and we are on top and we are the one on the driver's seat. No, we are on the driver's seat just to be able to see the simanim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us, and with this, try to gear the car, understand where is the road and what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to behave. That's the Ikar. Toiv ayin, the one who has a good eye, doesn't see always bad by people. Hu yevoirach, him yevoirach 232, all the ralab shining upon him. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. All right, Hashem, we'll see each other with Shabbos. The others, good Shabbos. All the best.
Thank you.
Shkoya, good to see you.
Shkoya.
Good to see you.